Guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. And today is very exciting for me because I'm starting a save file. Well, I'm starting with the world. I'm starting in Brindleton Bay, which I've mentioned before is one of my favorite worlds, or just my favorite world. I wanted this world to really reflect New England, and I wanted to pull a lot of inspiration specifically from Nancy Meyers movies. I know there was like this little wave on TikTok last year about Nancy Meyers' aesthetic, but I really did like her movies growing up, especially like Father of the Bride. And so I wanted this world to have this feel of like kind of upper middle class coastal town with a lot of drama. And I wanted to highlight one of the families that I already created for this save file. They are the owners of this little country market, and I haven't built their house yet, but I have started on their lore. I don't want to give away too much. Elderly couple, at the end, the husband and wife created this little country market when they moved to Brindleton Bay, and their son is currently helping them run it, and he's raising his two children, the teen and the child. His wife recently passed away, and they are all kind of dealing with that grief. And I'm going to leave it at that because I do want to go deeper into their story when I post their house. I pulled a lot of inspiration from buildings that are actually around me. A lot of like the smaller country markets around me, they kind of just look like houses. There are larger grocery stores here, but in general, if you're looking at kind of like these family-owned businesses, they all kind of just look like converted houses. And I'm pretty sure a lot of them are because the layouts are pretty weird. Like, you can definitely tell that the businesses out here in general, they're just houses that people kind of rearranged and redecorated, which is cute, but it's also like hard if you're trying to find a business you've never been to before and you're going down a row of houses just on like a residential street and it's actually someone's business. But I did want this to have that really homey feel, and I didn't really want the floor plan to make a lot of sense, kind of like the places out here. The grocery store doesn't really fit in here, and I wanted it to be intentional. I wanted everything to be really cramped. I wanted it to kind of look like they just did the best that they could. So some of the things may not make sense. Some of the things may not seem like they're the most ideal, but I wanted it to be like they were really working with what they had. Never actually tried to build a grocery store before. Like if you count the convenience market, kind of, but not like an actual grocery store. I wanted to do something a little bit smaller because I do want this town to feel really, really connected. And the best way in my head to make a town connected is to make it really tiny. So overall, I know there won't be too many families in this save, but I did want to have a lot of community lots for them to go to. And a grocery store is not going to be that functional. At the end, I do add that stand from cottage living, and hopefully you can like hire a vendor so that they can like actually buy groceries here. I didn't end up playtesting this too much, which is, I think I just forgot, honestly, because I was so focused on like the storytelling and like creating like family drama that it kind of slipped my mind. Usually I'm more of a builder in this game, but I do want to do more gameplay on my channel and in general. Usually when I'm playing the game, I get like bored very easily. Not because I don't think the game is fun, but because I'm someone who really likes to have a challenge. So if I'm playing, I always want to do like a legacy challenge, the not so berry challenge. I've been working on the ice cream challenge, but I've kind of given it up. I didn't get too far in it. And I think maybe making a save file and actually caring about all of the Sims that are in the world that I'm playing in will make it a little bit different for me, because I get so distracted, I guess. And I think that distraction is why it's hard for me to like stick to things. I've had saves where I've had like 13 generations of a family, but sometimes I'll just hit a wall and I don't want to go back to it, and then I end up deleting it too. So I want to see if I can try maybe doing like rotational gameplay. I want to say this is kind of like maybe like my little redemption from having my convenience store crash. I was hyper aware of the fact that I think I partially caused it because I put a lot of stuff on that lot. Like the shelves were super filled. I had a lot of like random little decals all over the place. So I scaled way back in here. And for me, scaling way back is still pretty cluttered. But I tried not to put more than like 6 of each item out. So when I'm stocking the shelves and the refrigerators, I do keep in mind that I don't want to put so many things on here that the lot won't load properly. And I am happy to say that I had no crashing, I had no issues with lagging, so hopefully this should be able to run on most like computers and laptops. I do play on a laptop, but I know that mine is pretty powerful, and it was pretty much the cost of a custom PC setup, so I do keep in mind that like I don't think everyone's game is going to perform at the same as mine. I want to try to find that happy balance between having everything look the way I want it to and having builds that a lot of people could find accessible to play. And I did have a lot of fun just kind of thinking of ways to display everything. So I did go to the market a couple of times and I took some pictures, and I know they probably thought I was really weird, but I wanted it to feel very authentic. And so, especially this like tables display, a lot of the places out here will use like baskets and barrels. There's a ton of farms around this area, and so it's nice that you can get local produce. Even in like the larger supermarkets, you can still get local farmer produce. Placing down all of this fruit though, usually I find it kind of like cathartic to do the same thing over and over. But I was getting so bored while I did this. I kept stopping, I kept pausing. I did rearrange the baskets like a couple of times. It was just the fruit for some reason. Fruit and I are really not friends in general. I don't like eating fruit. I don't really like eating sweets in general. If I'm having fruit, I like to put tahini on it, or like salt and lime juice, or like something a little bit like peanut butter. I don't know. I can't eat straight fruit. And people think it's weird. And people always wonder how I like work in a bakery and I don't want to eat fruit and like brownies and things. But I don't know. Fruit eaters, I don't understand you. It was actually more fun for me to do this like gardening side and the wall shelf that has like pet food and certain things than to like place a bunch of fruit. I don't know why. Because it's really me doing the same thing no matter what. But I think it's just like my inherent dislike of anything fruit that made that side such a chore to do. And I was trying to think of ways to like fill up these fridges without things expiring. I like using deco food, but so much of it in debug will go off and spoil. And I'm always worried that like if you actually play in this lot, it's gonna have those little like green stench lines. And I don't want that because especially for me, I love taking pictures. So I don't want that in my pictures. And I also know that most of the stuff you probably can't reach or your sim can't reach it. So you would have to like go into build mode and do all of this work just to get rid of something that's expired. So I'm like 99% sure that everything in this will stay without spoiling. And this little section right here with like the pet food and stuff, I thought it was kind of cute to have just like a home section because it is really small, so it's not like I could have aisles. And I wanted to try to like cover all of the bases. This grocery store does have a like seafood section because that's the most important thing in New England. Seafood is super big. and I had to make sure I had something with like a lobster on it. And I tried to include like crabs and stuff and like the little signs all over the place because shellfish and any really kind of seafood is like New England staple. And then there is also a butcher, a florist, and a really tiny bakery. I don't know what it is with me in building these tiny bakery areas lately, but like me personally, I would hate it because there is no space to do anything. But I did make sure they have like an oven and a fridge and some space to decorate cakes and bake pastries. There are a lot of places out here actually that, since the houses are so small, some businesses will have two locations, and there's tons of bakeries that do that. So I imagine that since the bakery in this grocery store is so tiny, they probably have another location where they bake everything and then they just kind of have it driven to them every morning before the store opens. And so with this back area, I did go through a few iterations of it. At first, I wanted these like counters, and I tried pulling out snow at first because I thought I could make like my own case, and everything I tried just didn't really look right. So instead, I went with those retail cases from Get to Work, and I I didn't really have to do too much with them. Like you can see the snow here now. it it looked a lot better and it was a lot less work. I think I was overthinking it at first. And so this is like more debug food. I think that most of it won't spoil. So at the beginning in the little like cinematic intro, I did use some custom content. This build doesn't have custom content in it when you download it from the gallery, but I really wanted to build a grocery store for two reasons. One, I wanted it in my save file for cute pictures, and two, because one of my like mutuals over here, Charisi, she actually makes animated deco sims, and I didn't even know that was something people could do. So when I found out that she did that, I was super amazed, and they just looked really good, and I knew I needed to have them in my game. And so if you get her entire pack, it does come with like grocery cards, grocery bags, a lot of different like little things for you to place down, plus the sims that are animated. And so all of the like movements that you saw any of the employees doing, those were the deco sims from her pack, and they fit perfectly into here. But I only use them for filming purposes because I want this save to be CC free. I just want it to be a little more available, and I also like wanted a break from linking CC. I do think if I play this for myself, well, when I play this for myself, I'm definitely going to keep the deco sims in. And she did also just put out like a little llama scout pack. They're so cute. They're based off of Girl Scouts. Like, not to get too into it, but one sweet I will enjoy is a Girl Scout cookie. Personally, I don't think this is controversial, even though some people have made me aware that coconut and caramel does not sound good together. But Samoas, they're my favorite. If I'm doing any kind of Girl Scout cookie, I'm making sure I get do-si-dos, I get Thin Mints, and you have to freeze them. And then obviously Samoas. I've made Samoas from scratch before. Delicious. I will still go out and pay like the $7 a box they are now. Even though I honestly can't find Girl Scouts where I live anymore. They used to be in front of grocery stores. And I will definitely be putting Charisi's Llama Scout in front of this grocery store for my own personal gameplay. But where have all the Girl Scouts gone? Do I just live in like that much of a remote area? I haven't seen a single one in like 2 years. I haven't had Girl Scout cookies in forever. And I used to be able to like get them all the time. I actually was a Girl Scout for a short period of my childhood. And antisocial. It did not work out. I did not want to be friends with anybody. And normally my thoughts were, when do I get to go home? But now that I'm an adult, I'm realizing how good I had it being a Girl Scout. because I didn't have to go through like a little syndicate just to get a box of cookies. It's to the point where it's like you have to know someone who knows a little kid that is in a troop just so that you can get a box of cookies. And I think I would know how like easy or how hard it would be to find Girl Scout cookies because I've worked at grocery stores. That is like their main place to sell. I haven't seen a Girl Scout stand in front of any grocery store in 2 years. So I don't know where they've all gone. I don't know if it's like a more online thing, but I definitely need to get on that because this is like my last chance to get them, especially I'm moving, so I really got to get on that. And I'm wondering, like, how many boxes of Girl Scout cookies I could fit in a suitcase. Oh god, that reminds me of, like, this is a very odd tangent to go on, but I'm gonna continue with it. When I was in high school, one of my friends had an Australian exchange student, and when she left, this is so random, I'm sorry, but when she left all of her clothes and like all of her belongings in lieu of stuffing her entire suitcase with Twinkies because I guess you couldn't get Twinkies in Australia. This was a while ago. I'm a lot older than most people think I am. I'm like, I don't know if you can get Twinkies there now, but she had never had one before. And we were all like, what do you mean you've never had a Twinkie before? Maybe this is just like the product of my time, but everyone kind of knew like eating Twinkies was. You used to joke that Twinkies are like the only thing beside roaches that would survive a nuclear war. So we were like, why are you so obsessed with these? And she took home cases of them. And we were all just like, you don't care about your stuff? But yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to get that out because I'm literally about to do the same thing. I'm going to pack a suitcase full of Girl Scouts cookies. So, to the random Australian exchange student whose name I don't remember, I'm so sorry. I get it now, girl. You were completely valid. Getting a little more back on track and less sidetracked because that was, oh my god, that was like a memory unlocked from the vault because I do not often think about high school. But I do actually want to make employees for this. I'm kind of hoping when the new pack comes out that this will be semi-functional. Like maybe there's a way that I could kind of work around it or maybe like make it a retail lot or something. Have like high schoolers or something that have this as like a part-time job. Hopefully. If not, like and you have a PC, I would highly recommend downloading any of Sharice's custom content. I want to do a lot of stuff with the things that she's released, but for this save specifically, I would say to add it on your own because I won't be like providing it. It has been interesting, a question mark. It's been different to like build without any custom content because I'll have periods where I don't use any and I fall into the slump of just like using the same packs over and over, or I will use a lot of custom content and I completely forget what is in the game. And so this is kind of like the point that I'm at right now. I'm really like relearning the stuff that they've put in this game. And for all of the complaints that people have, there is so much. At least in like build by, there of course are things that I would love to see. Like videos ago, I did say that I really wanted a kitchen clutter pack, and as if I manifested it for myself, they announced that they're coming out with a kitchen kit. So I can't wait to see the clutter in that, but there are plenty of things that aren't in the game, but doing this has made me realize there's so much that actually is in the game. I know like if you're on console you can't use tool and things like that, but there's still so much that's in here even if you don't use anything else to like make stuff that looks like other stuff. And I guess that makes sense because this has been out for a while, and so I feel like I'm always on like an island alone because I don't have too much to complain about when it comes to this game. it's a big source of comfort for me. And I think there's like a healthy amount of like criticism that you can give to something that you enjoy. But I genuinely don't have too much. Actually, no, I take that back. Recently, though, I think I have the same complaint that everyone has, which is like the game crashing all the time and like the whole save file corruption thing. Those are legitimate complaints. I'm kind of terrified to add a residential rental to this save because I know that I'm going to be putting in a lot of effort into it. And in general, people put a lot of effort into their games, so that is legitimately scary. That's kind of the only thing I can think about. I did have like the idea of doing an apartment because I wanted to fit in like as many families as I could without having too many. But now I'm a little nervous with the idea of doing that because I don't want it to mess anything up. I haven't talked too much about the build at this point, but I do want to just say I was patting myself on the back so hard when I did these little tables to make a conveyor belt. Literally for like a good 20 minutes, I was just like, yeah, you did that. It's so stupid, but I was so happy with myself. And I love the way that it came out because I was just like, how am I going to make this? Like, how am I going to find something that looks like a conveyor belt? And it was like the second table that I saw when I was looking. And I was like, oh, that was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. And I do have like a plan of making like a little shopping section, like a collection of shops. So I might need that trick again. So I'm really happy that I found that table. And I'm sure you've seen it a couple of times when I go to the exterior, but I did add like that debug gas station to the side. I really like kind of redoing the world a tiny bit when I do like save files. The last save file that I did was on a laptop that I no longer have. So it's kind of just like a wash, but I do like to add just a little bit more. I get a little scared of the idea of like completely blowtorching the world because I'm creative, but I don't know if I'm that creative. And that seems like that's like a whole nother world to me. So I do like to just add to the existing world because I do think a lot of the worlds are really pretty as is. But I do like to add some things to just kind of make the lots blend in a little bit better. And I do definitely like to add just activities for families to do. I'm gonna mostly try to keep this no occults because I know some people are not into that. But I do have one. Please just give me the one, guys. Just one family that will be spellcasters because I don't feel like I could do a New England inspired world without having like a practical magic inspired house and family. So let me just have this one little crumb, please. But yeah, I'm really excited to work on this save file. I'm excited because I've pretty much mapped out everything that I want to do, and I'll be like recording videos and releasing them in like my regular schedule. Maybe I'll have 2 posts a week for a little bit. I am about to go on vacation, so I have pre-filmed some stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm like, maybe I'll post more while I'm on vacation. Maybe I won't. I wasn't really planning on bringing my laptop at first, but maybe like because I'm pretty boring, I plan to be in like my hotel room pretty early. I go to bed pretty early as well, so well, that's a lie. I go to bed whenever I'm sleepy, but I'm like sometimes I might have the inspiration to build. So I don't want to like leave my laptop at home and then be like I'm super bored in my hotel room and I know that I'm not going to go out partying every night. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how my schedule is while I am like out and about. And I do have like this promise to myself that I'm going to start a Blue Sky. I've never used Twitter before and I've asked people about like how is Blue Sky. So I'm saying it in a video so that I actually have to do it, but I'm gonna get myself some socials. I did make a Tumblr a little bit ago, but I have not gone on it a single time yet, so I really need to get on that as well. I want to start posting like pictures from the builds that I'm doing and like some of my gameplay and stuff. So I'm hoping that I will have the time to be a little more dedicated to that as well soon. So look out for more content. For anyone who's made it this far in the video, thank you for sitting here and talking with me and sharing a little Sims experience together. I hope that whatever time of the day or night or evening it is for you, that you're doing well, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!